Thank you, Adam. That's the end of our icebreakers, and we're going to start off with some common vocabulary on education, kind of. And we're going to start off with subjects in school, and Kyle will be talking about the first one.
So the first subject is going to be English language arts, which is basically like all aspects or parts of English. So one part of English is reading and writing. In class, in English class we usually read books and other uh, types of writing such as essays or poems. And in writing, for writing, students usually write essays responding to uh, those books or other things that you read. Next is grammar. Grammar is like, sorry, uh, how to like use English properly and how to use different types of words to create sentences and meaning. And next is speaking slash listening. So sometimes in English, you're going to have to present in front of the class or maybe in small groups. So that's speaking. And listening is actually listening, I feel like, is in like all parts of class. You're going to have to listen to your teacher uh, giving instructions, and also, as I mentioned, when your classmates are like presenting or talking to you. So, whole question: how long have you been learning English? You can type in the chat. So it's less than a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, or more than 10.
You could also answer the question in the poll, and you can find that in the bottom right. There's a section called Activities, and you can click on that and then click on Polls.
So from the votes on the chat, it seems like most of you have been learning English for more than 10 years. Mm, Next, Elizabeth is going to talk about the next subject.
So another main subject that we learn in school is mathematics. It's also known as math. So I think what we first start off with, since like primary school, is algebra. We learned the 4 operations, including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And algebra is pretty basic, and I think we've all learned it already. Next, we also learned about geometry, which is all about shapes. We learn about the different shapes and how to find area and volume. And we also learn trigonometry, which is all about angles and also the sine, cosine, and tangent. Raise your hand if you guys have heard of that before. Wow, looks like a lot of people have learned it already. More than 20 people. That's really good. Okay, and next, this is the more higher levels of math. Um, Calculus is like, in my opinion, like the hardest math, and you learn about like derivatives, integrals, limits, and a lot of um, the things you learn in calculus you can apply in like daily life. Like I'm sure like engineers use calculus, like people use calculus in a lot of things. And statistics, that's about like data and probability. You can make graphs and charts to find out um, about like about how many people would um, like think a certain way, or just like you you get lots of like facts from statistics, and you learn about percentages and charts. And next we have science.
Oh, you go to the next slide. So two sciences we classes that we take in high school are biology and chemistry. Biology is like the study of living organisms, which includes like animals and plants, and it's also divided into many fields. But the class we take is more generalized. And chemistry is the study of I guess like the elements and different substance of which things are made of. So, oh yeah, next slide. Physics is the study of it's concerned with nature and the properties of matter and energy, and uh, it's like it's also concerned with topic the topic of energy. And astronomy is the branch of science that deals with celestial objects in space, or and also like the physical universe as a whole. So like planets and moons and stuff like that. So poll question: what is your favorite science? Biology, chemistry, physics, or astronomy? You could enter in the poll, or you could also um, say in the chat. The poll is on the bottom right. So it seems like biology is the most popular science, with astronomy very close behind us, second, and then physics and chemistry. Or now biology and astronomy are tied now. So Elizabeth can go on to the next subject.
So next we have social studies. Um, and this includes history, which we learn about past events and people from the past, so we can learn about like the early native people of our countries and how like it came to be, and how in the past people like would farm, and now we just go to a grocery store and buy food. In geography, we learn about the different like capitals of countries. We learn about where the countries are located in the world. So, for example, in between America and Taiwan, there's the Pacific Ocean, and Taiwan is located in Asia, while America is in North America. And we all live on Earth. In civics class, we learn about the rights and duties of being a citizen. So, for example, we have the right to vote for our representatives in government. Uh, we can vote for the president. And economics, uh, we study how people use resources, which can include money, to like produce, distribute, and consume goods and services.
And so next class is physical education. So at school, there are different locations where this class is held. The first is the gymnasium, or people just call it the gym. This is like an indoor building for indoor sports like badminton or volleyball. Next is an outdoor court. So this is for outdoor sports, including basketball and tennis. A field is the next is a field, and that's also for outdoor sports. Um, these include soccer, football, baseball, and golf. So, question: what sports do you like to play, and do you play in the gym, on the court, or on a field? You could type it in the chat, or you could also just like verbally shout it out. We go on to the next slide.
Another more like unique subject is fine arts. This can include anything from playing music to filming to drama to actually doing art. So first we have the arts. Uh, there, there are like many forms of arts, but a very popular one is drawing or sketching, and also there's painting and ceramics and pottery. Um, Raise your hand if you guys like to do art. Ooh. I think about 17 of us like to do art. That's really good. And we also have music. At our school, we have a band and an orchestra. And in a band, you can play many instruments like the clarinet, the flute, the trumpet, the trombone, percussion, tuba, uh, euphonium. And in the orchestra, there's usually more like string instruments like violin, viola, cello, bass. And my school doesn't have a choir, but I know a lot of schools do. And in a choir, um, it's just many people gather to sing and sometimes perform. So, do you guys play an instrument? You can vote in the poll or you can type in the chat. You can type which instrument you play. Wow, I see a lot of people play instruments. We have the piano, guitar, drum set, violin, flute, saxophone, viola. Wow. Oh, another drum set player. Clarinet, guitar. Oh, the ukulele. Okay, that's really cool. So we have lots of people playing guitar, piano, violin. Oh, an erhu. That's really cool. Does anyone else want to share what instruments they play? Okay. And lastly, another part of arts is theater and drama. So in our school, we have lots of plays that students act in every year. Uh, they learn in a class and they like practice a lot to perform. Sometimes it's musicals where the students would sing many songs and dance to it, but all of them like tell a story. And yeah, it's really cool to watch, but I've never been talented at that. Okay, I have a question for you guys. What is your favorite subject in school? You guys can unmute and talk or type it in the chat. Oh, we have one art, two maths, another math, an English, PE, another PE, another English, science, English, biology, English, science, English, biology, PE. Ooh, more PE, science, English, biology. Biology is really cool, but I never had the chance to dissect a frog or an animal. Oh, PE. Exercising is definitely very important. My mom always tells me to not sit at my computer and to go walk around, go outside. Okay. Um, Lastly, I have another section to talk about. These are like popular majors to study in college or university. So there are two like main overarching categories that most majors could fall under. One is STEM, and that's the abbreviation for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And humanities is the study of human society and culture. So for STEM majors, a very popular one is computer science. Um, Students who study that will study computers and computational systems. And there's also pharmacy, where students who study that can become pharmacists and prepare and provide medications to patients. And we have health professions or medical programs. That's pretty big, but students who study that, like, they have to spend many years in school, but they can become health and wellness professionals, such as doctors, nurses, and therapists. Another popular STEM major is engineering. When you do engineering, you're trying to solve the problems in the world by designing and building engines, machines, and structures. And then there's accounting, and people who do that will record accounting transactions of a business. So a lot of times it has to do with money, but not always. And lastly, we have political science, which is the study of government systems, public policies or laws, and political activities. And people who study that can become a politician, political reporter, a political campaign manager, or a professor. For humanities, a very popular major is education, and students will study the practices of teaching to develop the skills to teach others. And people who have an education degree most likely become teachers, professors, or counselors for school. And there's philosophy, which is the study of knowledge, reality, and existence, as well as moral and ethical reasoning. Some famous Greek philosophers are Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. And some other non-Greek philosophers are Karl Marx, who's the father of communism, and Confucius, who I think everyone knows. And for communication, that's the study of how to effectively communicate information in journalism or media, business, politics, etc. And people who study communication can become public relations specialists, human resources specialist, a reporter, journalist, sales representative, social media manager, or a radio DJ. And for the last of our humanities majors, we have psychology, which is also very popular. And that's the science of human behavior and mental processes. So that includes the study of the mind, the brain, and social interactions. And for design, that's mostly for people who are artistically talented and creative. So you have to think creatively, critically, and divergently about the design process. And you're also using like current trends to make whatever you're designing appealing. And we have business administration, where students will learn about the mechanics of business, including finance, accounting, and marketing. And that's pretty broad as well. So, as I know that you guys are all high schoolers and will probably go to college soon, what do you guys want to major in or study in college? You can unmute or type in the chat. What are you interested in studying in college? Ooh, Department of Applied Foreign Languages, Computer Science, Psychology, Medical, Business, more psychology. Yeah, I think psychology is very interesting to study, like how our brain works and how we interact with people. Oh, business. Business is very useful. Oh, STEM related. Yeah, I think STEM is very popular. Ooh, geography. Languages. I only know like 3 languages, and I studied Spanish in school, and I can speak Chinese and I know English. Oh, communication. Yeah, I think with the communication degree, you can go into many different careers. Oh, law and languages. Wow. I think being a lawyer is very hard, but it's also a very good job. Does anyone else want to share what majors or what you want to study in college? Okay, then, oh, economy, engineering, and medical science. Yeah, those are all very good, like, majors in studying. You can get good careers out of those. Oh, education. Medical. Yeah, being a doctor is very important because we all get sick sometimes and we need doctors to help us. Oh, sports health. Yeah, many people play sports, so keeping healthy is very important. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section. Oh, this is the thank you slide. If you have any questions, you can email me or Kyle.